Howdy, folks. Welcome to the December edition of Cattle Trails Showcase. I'm Ron Wilson, Poet Laureate. I have my Santa Claus cowboy hat on in honor of the season. Lonnie Steben is apparently down from the North Pole to join us as our showcase chair. We're excited about today's program. The purpose of the Cattle Trails Showcase is to continually highlight the communities, historical elements, museums, and other attractions along the historic cattle trails. And Lonnie Steben is our showcase chair. The Cattle Trail Showcase was initiated 4 years ago by the International Chisholm Trail Association, now as a project of the Historic Cattle Trails Consortium, which seeks to promote all the historic cattle trails, the Chisholm Trail, the Western Trail, also known as Great Western, the Shawnee, and the Goodnight Loving Trails. And by the way, we're already making plans for the second annual National Cattle Trails Conference to take place in Sedalia, Missouri. So mark your calendars for October 22 through 24, 2026. Can't believe I'm talking about 2026. Today is a special treat. Lonnie had the wonderful idea of doing something special for the holidays. So today we're having two wonderful musicians who will share cattle trail songs. And these songs all reflect various aspects relating to the cattle trails. Jeff Davidson and Tom Hawk are regular participants in this showcase, and they're also award-winning performers in their own right. And among other things, they're national officers of the Western Wordsmiths chapter of the International Western Music Association. So I believe we're going to hear from Jeff's songs first, and then Tom. So we welcome Jeff Davidson and Tom Hawk, guys.
Thank you, Ron. And this is Jeff. And I'm just going to play songs off of my website. And these are old classic songs, probably sung on the trail. I'm going to start off with just a little background for you. Here's a quote I want you to remember. The trail boss would never employ a fellow that couldn't sing and whistle. And we boys would consider it a dull day's drive if we didn't add at least one verse. And bad dark nights, the cowboy that could keep up the most racket was the pet of the bunch. We called him the bellwether, and he always brought up his side of the herd. That's a quote from J.M. Grigsby of Fort Worth. It's from my book, Cowboy Songs by John Lomax. That's considered more or less the Bible of cowboy music. The book also credits Professor Frank Dobie from the Texas Folklore Society with this little line, galloped and sang the long days through, shortened the trail by the songs he knew. First song I'm going to play is the Old Chisholm Trail that you're probably familiar with. Many verses to this song, 71 of them are in the Lomax book. Don't worry, I didn't record all of those. I had the Cowboys Get Up Holler in the middle of this as sort of a break in the song. It mentions hoe cake for breakfast. There are several stories as to where the name comes from, but one is that African American slaves cooked hoe cake on the back of their hoe over some coals while chopping cotton. The simplest recipe is Indian cornmeal, salt, and boiling water, and then, of course, fry the batter. This goes along with the term hoe down, which was the time that chopping cotton for the season was done, and slaves could put down the hoe and have a party. And let's remember, many cowboys were Southern boys familiar with those terms, so here is Old Chisholm Trail. Come along, boys, and listen to my tale. I'll tell you of my troubles on the old Chisholm Trail. Come a tie, yippee, 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 come a tie, yippee, yippee. I woke one morning on the old Chisholm Trail with a rope in my hand and a cow by the tail. Come a tie, I started up the trail October 23rd. Started up the trail with the two new friends. Come a tie, yeah, come a tie, it's beans and bacon most every day. I just as soon eat prairie hay. Come a tie, yeah, come a tie, on a $10 horse and a $40 saddle, I'm gonna punch them longhorn cattle. Come a tie, yeah, come a tie,
pies and the meat. If you wildies are hungry, get up, yippee, come a tie, yippee, come a tie, yippee. It's cloudy in the west and it looks like rain. Left my slicker in the wagon at the bean. Come a tie, yippee, come a tie, yippee. Well, we rounded him up and we put him in the cars. That was the last of the old two bars. Come a tie, yippee, come a tie, yippee. I'm gonna see the boss, gonna get my money, going back home to see my honey. Come a tie, yippee, come a tie, yippee. Come a tie, yippee, come a tie, yippee.
Okay, I'm going to cut that off just a few seconds. We'll move on to Green Grow the Lilacs. That song is said to be of Irish origin, but it might be better known as the source of the word gringo, the term used by Mexicans when referring to Americans. The story is that when the Mexicans heard the American cowboys sing the first two words of the song, they thought they were saying gringo. That particular quote is from the jacket of my 1961 Kansas Centennial vinyl record. But however, the term may go back as far as the Mexican-American War of 1846 and 47, on into 48. So here is Green Grow the Lilacs. Again, another song with lots of verses, many different versions. This is the one that I learned a long, long time ago.
Gringo, the lilacs all sparkling with dew. Lonesome, my darling, since parting with you. By our next meeting, I hope to prove true and change the green lilacs to the red, white, and blue. Gringo, the lilacs reminded me of the ones that I brought you with all of my love. The gates of my country will open to you and change the green lilacs to the red, white, and blue. Gringo, the lilacs, your favorite flower, sweetly perfuming this sad parting hour. Send me the message that you love me too, and change the green lilacs to the red, white, and blue. Gringo, the lilacs reminded me of the ones that I brought you with all of my love. The gates of my country will open to you and change the green lilacs to the red, white, and blue.
Okay, now we're going to move on to one called the Railroad Corral. The Railroad Corral, of course, was the destination, or I should say one of the destinations, for cattle coming up the trail. And regardless, it would fit all of the four trails, the Shawnee, Chisholm, Western, and Goodnight Loving. So the Railroad Corral being one of the very main destinations on the trail.
Well, it's up in the morning, they're breaking of day. The truck wagon's busy with flapjacks in play. The herd is astir over hillside and vale, with the night riders rounding them onto the trail. Come roust out your steers from the long chaparral, for the outfit is off to the railroad corral. Now the sun circles upward and the steers as they plod are pounding to pound the hot prairie sod. It seems that the dust makes you dizzy and sick, and won't ever reach noon in the blue shady creek. dry statue steers from the long chaparral, where the outfit is off to the railroad corral. Come tie up your kerchief and pry up your nag, come dry up your drawers and try to not lag. Come along with your steers to the long chaparral, we're far on the road to the railroad corral. Come roust at your steers from the long chaparral, where the outfit is off to the railroad corral. But the longest of days must reach evening at last. The hills are all climbed and the creeks are all passed. The tired engines in the yellowing light, let 'em hope that they will hold the railroads in sight. Come roust at your steers from the long chaparral, where the outfit is off to the railroad corral.
Okay, the next song is Get Along Little Dogies. I'm sure you've all heard that at one time, which perhaps is a song that seems to fit the Western Trail or the Goodnight Loving the best because it mentions Wyoming and Idaho. Some of the cattle on those two trails did go north and west to stock the ranges up in that country, and you could include Montana and the Dakotas as well. So here's Get Along Little Dogies.
As I was out walking one morning for pleasure, I spied a young puncher just a-riding along. His hat was thrown back and his spurs were a-jingling. As he approached, he was a-singing this song. Yippee-ki-yi-oh, get along, you little dogie. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Yippee-ki-yi-oh, get along, you little dogies. You know that Wyoming will be your new home. It's early in the spring when we round up the dogies. We mark 'em and brand 'em and bob off their tails. Round up the horses and load up the chuck wagon, and then throw the dogies out on the long trail. Whoop-a-tie-I-oh, get along, you little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoop-a-tie-I-oh, get along, you little dogies. Know that Wyoming will be your new home. Your mother was raised away down in Texas, where the gypsum weed and the sandbirds grow. We'll fill you up on prickly pear cherry till you are ready for Idaho. Whoop-a-tie-I-oh, get along, you little dogies. It's your misfortune and none of my own. Whoop-a-tie-I-oh, get along, you little dogies. Know that Wyoming will be your new home.
Well, there you go. Do you guys want me to play Annie Laurie or not? Move on. Ron or Lonnie?
Yes, please.
Okie doke, here comes Annie Laurie, which was a song from the 1700s. It's a very old song, Scottish tune, written by a guy by the name of William Douglas, although it's public domain, of course. Also in this song, I put in a Badger Clark poem, and the poem is called A Bad Half Hour, and it kind of makes the song a little sad, makes it real sad, actually. And so anyway, here we go, Annie Laurie.
Maxwell embrace of honey, where early falls the dew, and it's there that Annie Laurie gave me her promise true, gave me her promise true, and never like the dew on the gowan light is the fall of her fairy feet, and like winds in summer sighing, her voice is soft and sweet. Her voice is soft and sweet, and she's all the world to me. And for Bonnie and me, I'd lay me down and die. Don't know why I feel so restless. Moon is big and shining bright. Cattle all are resting easy, but I just can't sleep tonight. Ain't no cactus in my blankets. Don't know why they feel so hard. Guess it's warbling Jim a singing, Annie Laurie out on guard. Annie Laurie, wish he'd quit it. Couldn't sleep now if I tried. Makes the night seem big and lonesome, and my throat feels sore inside. How my Annie used to sing it, and it sounded good and gay. Nights I drove her home from dances, when the east was turning gray. Yes, her brow was like a snowdrift, and her eyes like summer streams, and her face, I still can see it, much too frequent in my dreams. And her hands so soft and trembly that night underneath the tree, when I couldn't help but tell her she was all the world to me. But her folks said I was shiftless, wild and settled, they was right. For I leaned towards punching cattle, and I'm at it still tonight. And she married young Doc Wilkins. Oh my Lord, but that was hard. Wish that fool would quit his singing, Annie Laurie out on guard. I just can't stand thinking of the things that happened then. Good old times and all are past me, never seem to come again. My turn, sure, I'll come a-running. Heat me up some coffee, pard, but I'll stop that Jim from singing, Annie Laurie out on guard. And for Bonnie and me, I'd lay me down and die.
Okay, I should have mentioned that's actually my dad that recites the poem there, and obviously is a song that actually was sung by the guys doing night herd duty back in the day. Tom, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Jeff. Well done. My first song is really originated in a poem written by Bruce Cascadden, who was one of the giants in the cowboy poetry field. The title of the poem was "Hitting the Trail Tonight." It was written in the 1940s, but it wasn't put to music until early in the 1980s when Hal Cannon did it, and it's one I really like. "Hitting the Trail Tonight." Moonrise high on the cloudless sky, the stars are shining bright. The dark pines show on the hills below, the mountains capped with white. My spurs they ring and the song I sing, I set to my horse's stride. We gallop along to an old-time song, as out on the trail we ride. I'm hitting the trail tonight, I'm hitting the trail tonight. My horse is pulling the bridle reins, I'm hitting the trail tonight. You can hear the sound as he strikes the ground on the frozen trail below. His hoofbeats hit as he fights the bit, he's slinging his head to go. We'll ride the trail till the stars turn pale and camp at the break of dawn. trail tonight. My horse is pulling the bridle reins. I'm hitting the trail tonight. Not try to say goodbye, let somebody else do that. I'll ride alone and find a home wherever I hang my hat. Let those who sit and talk explain whether I'm wrong or right. My horse is pulling the bridle reins. I'm hitting the trail tonight. I'm hitting the trail tonight. I'm hitting the trail tonight. My horse is pulling the bridle reins. I'm hitting the trail tonight. The moon shines down on the rolling plains and the tops of the mountains white. My horse is pulling the bridle reins. I'm hitting the trail tonight. My horse is pulling the bridle reins. I'm hitting the trail tonight. I'm hitting the trail tonight. I'm hitting the trail tonight. I'm a big fan of Roy Rogers singing and yodeling. As a matter of fact, he's one of my two yodeling heroes. I also like to let you know that he is an amazing square dance caller, which a lot of people don't know. But this is called Under Western Skies. A cowboy may roam from his homeland far out on the great divide, but in his heart he will still be a cowhand and long for his pony to ride. Dear old western skies, I want to go where the longhorn cattle roam. Dear old western skies, I'll never be another place that I call home. Seems that I can hear the cattle lowing. Seems that I can see the purple sage blowing. I hope old Pate and I will herd the doggies by and by. Under that dear old western sky. Aloha-dee, aloha-dee, aloha. Dee, aloha, aloha. Aloha-dee, aloha-dee, aloha. Dee, aloha, aloha, aloha. Dee, aloha, aloha. Dee, aloha, aloha. Aloha-dee, aloha-dee, aloha. Dee, aloha, aloha, aloha. Dee. This is another Roy Rogers song. It's another yodeling song. It's called Night Guard. And Night Guard, I think most of you know what Night Guard was. It's when the cattle herds were on the trail at nighttime. They would bed down someplace, and a couple of cowboys would have a 2-hour stretch to ride around the herd, sing them soft lullaby type of songs to calm them down, and then they'd go. After 2 hours, they'd go back, and somebody else would take. 2 other guys would take over. But it has a really good yodel to it. On night guard I'm a-riding round 1,000 bedded steers. But the night my thoughts are sliding on the trail of distant years. Coyotes howling in the darkness chill my weary bones. Varmints prowl around the campfire makes the cowboy feel at home. Yodelay, yodelay, yodelay. Yodelay, 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 dee. Cold north wind was blowing, the snow came falling down. Wrapped in the saddle blanket, sleeping on the cold, cold ground. I used to ponder over my luck, wondered why it never changed. I was happy and free on my mammy's knee, pulling on her apron strings. Yodelay, 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 tee. Now I love to see the sun come shining, stealing through the kitchen door. Watch my old mammy cooking ham on that old kitchen stove. Mockingbirds sing you to sleep at night, the moonbeam play through the trees. Some might be climbing out of New Mexico, giving them sunny Tennessee. Yodelay, 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 tee. Lo, dear, lo, dear, lo, dear, lo, tee. Lo, dear, lo, tee. Lo, dear, lo, tee. Lo, dear, lo, dear, lo, dear, lo, tee. Lo, dear, lo, dear, tee. Well, I'm very partial to the songs from the first half of the 20th century, and several of the ones that you've heard so far are out of that repertoire. This one I discovered on a CD by Patsy Montana, who is one of the great and first, well, not the first, but one of the early and great female yodelers, along with Carolina Cotton and Rosalie Allen. It's called My Dear Old Arizona Home. I got my early schooling on the old Apache Trail, chasing longhorn cattle across the range through snow and hail. We'd spend our nights in treatment, camping by the water hole. I'll go back there to end my days, for the West is in my soul. The sound of my old shaft suspicion fills my heart and makes me wishing for my dear old Arizona home. When I hear an old hoot owl, I'll go back as sure as shooting to my dear old Arizona home. I'll cross the mesa, soon I'll face the trail and darn my hide. At the end I hope I soon will root myself a blushing bride, and will ask the stork to bring a stranger who'll grow up to be a ranger in my dear old Arizona home. Yodel-o-deedly-o, yodel-o-deedly-ay, yodel-o-deedly-dee, yodel-o-deedly-ay, yodel-o-deedly-o, yodel-o-deedly-ay, yodel-o-deedly-dee, yodel-o-deedly-ay. When nighttime comes a-creeping, how I long to hit the trail and join those wild coyotes where they live and hunt and wail. I like to watch the cattle as they're tending to their cud. I guess I'm just an old cowpoke, the range is in my blood. When I hear a herd of cows a-mooing, sound just like the doves a-cooing round my dear old Arizona home. The smell of field of sage a-blooming, in my heart a tune I'm creaming for my dear old Arizona home. Well, I'll grab my saddle and skedaddle out where I'll be free. And while I'm roping, I'll be hoping someone waits for me. In my mind I see a cowboy wedding, so my old late horse I'm heading for my dear old Arizona home. Yodel-o-deedly-o, yodel-o-deedly-ay, yodel-o-deedly-dee, yodel-o-deedly-ay, yodel-o-deedly-o, yodel-o-deedly-ay, yodel-o-deedly-dee, yodel-ay. I want to finish up my set with a tribute to the season. The Santa Claus hats that you see. This song was written. This is called Santa's Yodeling Song. Was written by Janet McBride and a collaborator. Um, it's the only Christmas season song that I know of in my repertoire. That doesn't mean that there aren't others, but it's the only one that I know of. So here goes Santa's yodeling song. Tree lights glowing, snow is blowing, we were all snowed down. Everyone's waiting, anticipating Santa Claus coming to town. When out of the night came the sound right bright, surely it couldn't be. I didn't hear a ho ho ho, I heard a yodel away tee. Yodel away, yodel tee. Santa was a yodeling. Dasher and Dancer and all of his reindeer were doing the Santa Claus swing. While bells were ringing, trumpets fell, and everyone was dreaming sweet dreams. Yodel away, yodel tee. I heard Santa yodeling. Yodel away, yodel tee. Yodel away tee. He put toys for girls and boys under the Christmas tree. Yodel away, yodel tee. Yodel away tee. Santa was a rockin', filling stockings on yodel away tee. Maybe I was sleeping, could have been a dream. There's no way to know if it was Santa and his dancing reindeer that night so long ago. It really doesn't matter, cause I'll never forget the way it thrilled me so. Hear old Santa go yodeling away instead of a ho ho ho. Yodel away, yodel tee. Santa was a rockin' that night. Yodel away, yodel tee. It really was a beautiful sight to watch old Santa and his reindeer swing while bells were jingling along. Yodel away, yodel tee to the Santa Claus yodeling song. Yodel away, yodel tee to the Santa Claus yodeling song. Thank you.
Who knew that Santa Claus could yodel? Wow.
I'll never think of Santa in the same way without thinking about him yodeling.
Oh, what a treat. What a treat. Oh, that's outstanding. We really appreciate you guys and your sharing your talents, and just perfect for the season.
Ron, I might add, Jeff was nice enough he had eye surgery Wednesday, but he he was able to replay his recorded songs, but he wasn't able to sing live, or he would have sang live to us today also. So, but I posted about his website, and he has a sample songs. What's it? It's kind of a library, and there's probably 12 or 15 songs, and I think I've listened to Annie Laura about 10 times since I've got it recorded down now. I love that song.
There's 19 on there, right?
19, and then he has a song of the week too if you follow his website. So
Well,
Fantastic.
Jeff performed at the several times at the International Western Music Association, and he did a great job.
Well, you did too, Tom.
I had a wonderful voice and good storytelling in between the songs.
Well, you were there a lot too, Tom.
well, we appreciate you guys sharing your talent. That's fabulous. So, Ron, I guess we ought to see if anybody has any questions about why they
Questions
do
or
this or some of the
questions or
music.
comments?
Why do we do this, Tom?
Well, because you're gifted, for one thing.
Well,
You guys, you guys mentioned Mr. Lomax or Dr. Lomax. Would you explain to everybody who those guys were?
Yeah, I'll try. This is Alan or excuse me, John Lomax, and then his son Alan Lomax went on. I have the 1952 edition of his songs, or the title of the book is simply Cowboy Songs. But this is kind of the one that people go back to for a lot of the old original cowboy songs. And this John Lomax went, well, I can't tell you everywhere he went, but he went kind of throughout the West, Texas, and a lot of other places, and found these songs and had people, and he recorded them. A lot of times it was just some cowboy that was singing, and he would record the song and kind of take it and put it together and get a musician to really put some sheet music to it. So, but there's just a lot of songs. All the ones that I sang are in here, and again, there are a number of verses to many of these songs, and also different tunes. I mentioned my Kansas Centennial album. I had already learned Green Girl the Lilacs, but the one that's on that album is actually considerably different in both words. The tune, you might say, is basically the same, but it's a much slower, sadder version on that particular record. And so lots of variations to these songs.
Hey,
And so,
Jeff.
yeah.
Hey, Jeff, do you know when Lomax started collecting those cowboy songs?
Oh boy.
Was it early 1900s?
Yes, yes. I almost want to say 1990. Or here's a letter from 1910. He's got in here. So it's about that time. And that letter, by the way, is signed by Theodore Roosevelt. Um, so yeah, that's back in that time frame is when he was putting this together. One of the stories I've heard is Home on the Range, and he found down in Texas somewhere, he found a black cowboy
Yep.
that sang Home on the Range for him, and
Yep.
that's where he originally. And I think that was in that movie, wasn't it?
Yep. It sure
But
was.
there's just a lot of the ones you've heard and a lot of the ones you have not heard. Here's On the Trail to Idaho. There's John Garner's Trail Herd. I'm just the Crooked Trail to Holbrook. I'm just kind of thumbing through the pages. Here's the Old Chisholm Trail. Like I say, 71 verses, and Goodbye Old Paint is in here. A lot of them, and the Railroad Corral's in here. Slightly different words than I use. The Little Joe the Wrangler, you all know, and I got. There's one on my website called Old Texas, and the words, and I learned it and saw a poem written on the wall of a cafe, and I stuck that poem kind of like I did Annie Laurie. I stuck that poem in the song Old Texas, but both of those are actually in here, both the poem and the song. So
Fantastic.
I'd like to add to what Jeff has said on two counts. One, the Lomax book is one of the two or three that are the stars within the library of cowboy and western songbooks. The other one is Bob Tinsley's 50 cowboy western songs that every cowboy should know. And then there's the small Thorpe book, which actually in some ways predates the Lomax book. And he went around collecting songs that were done before 1900, and that's my segue into the other aspect of this, and that is I have divided cowboy and western songs into three major eras: 1850 to 1900, which is divided into two segments: the open range up until 1875, when barbed wire came in, and then the increasingly closed range after that. Most of the songs in that era were melodies brought over from Ireland and Scotland and England, and the cowboys created their own verses to them, much of which were quite bawdy in character. quite raunchy in character. The second major era goes from 1900 until 1932. No, 1957. And that too is divided into two segments. One, the nostalgia era for the disappearance of the Old West. That goes from 1900 to 1932, when RKO signed this young, handsome cowboy singer named Gene Autry to a movie contract. And the first of the silver screen cowboy movies came out. So the second part of that middle era is the silver screen cowboy era. That's Gene Autry and Roy Rogers and Ken Maynard and Tex Ritter and a bunch of others, and ends with the last movie by Rex Allen in 1957. And then the third era is what I call the contemporary era. If you go to the International Western Music Association's annual gathering in Albuquerque in the middle of November, most of the songs that you will hear there are from the contemporary era, written by the people who are performing them by and large. And you will not hear the songs from the other two eras by and large. But the contemporary era is significant in terms of a number of songs that have been written and that continue to be written. The songs that we are singing, that Jeff and I have sung, are songs that by and large emerged during the first era, 1850 to 1900, or the second era, from 1900 to 1957.
They're related to the cattle trails most directly, and so that totally makes sense. Let's see, Gary, did you have a comment before we wrap up? Question?
No, I thought we were closing out, and I was just going to wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
And it is time to close down. Appreciate everybody being on. There's cowboy dances Michael Grauer's holding up. Is that what that is?
Yep.
Tell us about that, Michael.
Yeah, I found that just somewhere, 1947 by Lloyd Shaw. A collection of Western square dances. It's actually pretty hysterical, but I'm a sucker for that. And I'll show you one more. This is Ina Sires, 1928, Songs of the Open Range. That's a pretty rare one. And did you all mention Mr. Tharp?
I did.
Okay, good. Thank you.
I used to call square dances, so I'm interested in the square dancing. So
yeah, I'll send you a copy of that title page, Jeff.
Okay.
Yeah, I stumbled across that. And by the way, my Lomax copy, Lonnie is from, and Mary Lou is from the Wichita Public Library. The accession.
Well, we've been down a musical trail today, and it's been wonderful. We appreciate everyone. Lonnie, we're still working on Cattle Trails Showcase. We've got some exciting ones scheduled in the future. We'll keep you posted about our next showcase. We do know it's scheduled for Friday, January 9, 2026. So hope to see you then. With that, I think we'll wrap up. Until next time, this is Ron Wilson, Poet Laureate, saying thank you for taking time to join us in this place, and come on back next month for our Cattle Trails Showcase. Happy trails, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. We'll see you all next year.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you all. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Well done.